right, let's talk about something that seems to fly over a lot of people's heads: shareholders. Who they are, why the rich love being them, and how they control pricing in ways that most people don't even realize. This is one of the biggest reasons why no president, no matter how powerful, can just tell companies to stop price gouging or be nice to consumers. It doesn't work that way. And trust me, once you understand how shareholder loyalty works, you'll start seeing the patterns everywhere. A shareholder is anyone who owns stock in a company. That can be a single person, an investment firm, or even a hedge fund. But here's the key part. They aren't just investors. They're the owners. And that means the company's job is to make them money, not to prioritize customers, employees, or the quality of the product. The ultra-rich, hedge funds, banks, pension funds, and investment firms like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. These groups control trillions of dollars and have massive stakes in companies across all industries. This is where the common sense part comes in. If you owned a business, would you run it to maximize your money? Or would you take pay cuts just to make customers happy? That's the game corporate CEOs are playing, except at a much bigger level. If you're a shareholder in a big company, you don't even have to work. Your wealth just grows as the company's stock value goes up, or you collect dividends. The Federal Reserve pumps money into markets, companies do stock buybacks to increase share prices artificially, and tax laws favor capital gains over wages. The rich don't have to work because they let their money work for them. This is the biggest reason why companies act the way they do. The CEO's job isn't to make you happy. It's to make sure shareholders see growth every quarter. If they don't, they get replaced. This is why a company like Boeing can cut corners on safety and still keep going. Because fixing safety problems costs money, and money spent on safety doesn't go into shareholder pockets. And when you see planes having issues, that's not a surprise. That's just what happens when companies prioritize shareholder profits over product quality. It's a consulting firm that advises top CEOs and boards. Their biggest innovation? Teaching CEOs to treat companies like financial assets, not businesses. In the past, businesses tried to balance customers, employees, and shareholders. McKinsey came in and said, nah, shareholders first. Everything else is secondary. They encouraged mass layoffs to cut costs, outsourcing jobs to cheaper countries, stock buybacks to boost share prices artificially. Short-term profits over long-term sustainability. This mentality is why you see corporations today doing things that don't even make sense. Like Boeing cutting corners on planes, or tech companies laying off thousands of workers despite making record profits. It's all about keeping shareholders happy, not customers. Let's talk about one of the most insane examples of shareholder loyalty ruining a company. Boeing. If you've seen the news, you know that Boeing's planes have had serious safety issues. But here's the real reason why. Boeing used to be an engineering company. Their goal was to build the safest, most reliable planes in the world. But then in the 1990s and 2000s, they shifted to being a shareholder-first company. McKinsey helped Boeing adopt the maximized shareholder value model. What did they do? Cut costs by outsourcing production. Prioritize share buybacks over R&D, laid off experienced engineers and replaced them with cheaper, less experienced workers. Put finance people in charge instead of engineers. And now, you have Boeing planes losing parts mid-air, companies canceling orders, and their reputation collapsing. But the kicker? Boeing's leadership doesn't really care as long as they can keep the share price up long enough to cash out. Now that we understand how companies operate for shareholders, let's talk about the biggest real-world impact: pricing. A lot of people think prices are going up because of greed alone, but the reality is deeper than that. Stock buybacks and dividends. Instead of investing in making things cheaper or better, companies use profits to inflate stock prices. Private equity takeovers. Firms buy businesses, strip them for parts, and jack up prices to squeeze out every last dollar. CEOs prioritize short-term stock growth over long-term stability. This is why people get confused when they hear things like record corporate profits, while also paying higher prices. Profits go to shareholders, not into making things cheaper for you. And here's where we wrap this up with some common sense. People love to say, why doesn't the president just tell companies to stop raising prices? Or why doesn't the government step in and force them to stop gouging us? Because the government doesn't run these businesses, shareholders do. The only way to change things: regulation. But guess who lobbies against that? The same shareholders who own everything. And if a CEO suddenly decided to start prioritizing consumers over profits, shareholders would fire them immediately. So next time you hear people blaming the wrong things for inflation, high prices, and corporate greed, remember who actually runs things. Not the president. Not the president. Not the government. The shareholders. If you really want to see change, you have to start understanding where the incentives come from. Otherwise, you'll keep getting played while the rich get richer. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think corporations should prioritize consumers more, or is the shareholder model just how business works?